Whenever you are preparing for the interview, there are three things which you have to bear in mind. And we're answering an interview from this distance. Imagine working in one particular department, and then you mention what was the reason why you liked it, because these are the places where your communication and engagement will count. Hello, everybody. I thought let me just start with a session where you can have a good feedback about how your performance has been, and that will help you prepare for the interview. Congratulations to all those who made it through the preliminary rounds. It is really nice. Heartiest congratulations. For those who couldn't do it this time, I wish you all the luck. You are still on the journey. You can crack it the next time. We had to really be very strict with the selection procedure because we want you to really take the lessons learned and progress. Okay, now for everybody, whenever you are preparing for the interview, there are three things which you have to bear in mind. First, your camera. Okay, now imagine I am talking to you and I have used a mobile phone so that I am as close to the reality of you attending an interview. So whenever you do an interview, which is facing through your mobile phone, then there are a few aspects which you should take care of. The very first one is placing the camera. Some of you had placed the camera like this and were answering an interview from this distance. Imagine how difficult it becomes if you keep your camera so far away, and there are two things which will happen. First, you will not be able to listen to the question well. So you will always say, wie bitte, können Sie nochmal sagen? And that irritates the interviewer. The second thing is that your own voice is so difficult for the interviewer to hear that even he will be like, maybe I will just not ask the question at all. So make sure that the camera and you are sitting close to the lens. Important. In this also, do not sit against the sun like this. This is still better, but some of you were sitting like this, which is partial. And nobody is able to actually make out the expressions on your face. I have the sun is shining very bright here. It's still evening, but if I do it like this, so you can easily see what the difference is. So make sure that you are sitting against the source of light. It will be through the day, through the afternoon, so you can still make use of it. The second thing is, while sitting, the camera position should not be like this. You are not answering some interviewer like this. Some of you were sitting and had the phone here. Make use of a water bottle. Make use of a table if you don't have a table. So for example, what have I done? This is a window. I do not know if you can actually see. Maybe you cannot see because I have blurred the background. Sit against a window. That's the best source of light. If at all you are in a room where there is no natural source of light, then it's just a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. Charge your phones. And I found it commendable of one of the students or one of the candidates where that is consistency and determination. I'm really proud of both of them. What they did, there was no electricity the day we conducted the interviews. And despite that, they had arranged for a candle or the camera's light. They were holding the camera so close and still attended an interview. And there was no electricity and nothing. And one of them had also arranged for a torch so that the torch could could bring the light on his face, and he attended the interview. So very well done, because that shows the determination and consistency with which you want to make sure that you crack the interview. And so very well done, you did it. The third point, which is, not the third point, but it still comes under the camera adjustment, and that is light, camera, face. I have also written that down. Yes, please keep the camera steady. Don't move around with the camera. 15 to 20 minutes is a long time. If an interviewer likes talking to you, maybe the interview can go on even for 20 minutes of time. And in such case, make sure that your phone, because your arms will start paining. And that's why make sure that you are sitting in a position which is comfortable. You are sitting down. You could also squat and sit down. ಕೆಳಗೆ ನೆಲ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. But please make sure that your camera is at a position where your face is in the center and you are able to, and the interviewer is able to see your face. Some of you also you were sitting close, but the camera was almost here. So imagine you are wasting the entire space which is above your head, and also the interviewer is not having any fun looking at you like that. So make sure, be in the center, show your expressions, and face the camera. Then, yes, one of the red flags is that when you are sitting in a room, please be alone. There is no point of having somebody else in the room who gives you background, um, prompts you with the answer, because we are not testing anybody else. We are testing you and we are testing your intelligence. So you should be the one to answer the questions and not take the help of anybody else, which is a red flag and it is outright rejection. While sitting in the camera, while switching on the camera, I noticed that some of you had books, clothes hanging on, which is very normal because at home we are in a comfortable space and not everybody would have a plain white wall. What do we do in this case? We should make sure that we can select, once you log into the Microsoft Teams app, you will see your window. There is an option for change background. Click on that. I will send you the image which I use, which you can, if you like, you can use, but you can also use any other background image. Click on it, say change background, and have a background. This is a virtual background with which I'm sitting. Yes, my hair look a little different, but at least you are able to see me well and my face well, right? So use the virtual background. It is meant so that all the uneasy background can be hidden. Use that. Yes. So the first point about background is clear. I hope you make sure implement it before the interview. Second part is your introduction. Some of you had by-hearted the introduction to such an extent that that introduction went on for 2 to 3 minutes. It's not correct. There are only 3 things which an interviewer is interested in understanding. Not about your family background, who your father is, who your mother is, only about you. Yes, if there is some time remaining, maybe you could ask, maybe you could tell about it. So first, what's your name? Age could be something which you can add, but the interviewer already has that information. What would be interesting is that what you have studied, what is your experience, if there is any. If there is no experience, use your internship time, about which departments you served at. And third, why are you looking forward to go to Germany? Remember, this position is for elderly care. So understand what is the job description. Understand that they want to have the position of a nursing assistant, which means that there are responsibilities which could be either which allows you to give medicines, which a nurse would be able to, but a nurse assistant presently, because you still have to undergo the recognition procedure, a nurse assistant is allowed to do only certain tasks. So this is really important for you to know what are your duties as a nurse assistant and as a nurse. Okay, so when you are giving your introduction, there are just 3 things you should focus upon. What is your past education? What is your present? If you are already still learning German, you could say that, or you could say that presently I am preparing for my exam, or I am already working, because some of you have cleared your B2 already and are already working in hospitals. And third, why exactly do you want to come to Germany? And because this is an elderly care position, mention it. I am also keen on taking care of the patient, because at the end of it, if the patient is a child, an elderly person, or a young girl or a young man, it is all irrespective, because we are in the profession of nursing, which is seva. And that's why it's immaterial whom you serve, but make sure that when you talk about this topic, you are very much inclined and focused that yes, it doesn't really matter if I have to serve in a hospital or an elderly care home. Of course, if you do not have the preference of serving in an elderly care home, then you could say that to me, because then we can postpone the interview and give you an interview only for hospital. Let that chance go to somebody who wants to do it. Okay. So this is really important. Do not waste the employer's time as well and your own. Then during the introduction, the second step was introduction, past, present, future. Just this and stop. And I will tell you what is the reason why this is important. It is important because I, as a recruiter, have a list of 10 questions which I would want to ask from all the candidates. The reason is very simple. I would like to know you as a person. Would you be the right candidate who will be a part of my institution? So can I trust you? Can I see my patients and my residents of the elderly care home being happy with you? So that is the reason. Make sure that your answers are not very long. They are crisp to the point. So listen to the question carefully. And you can listen to the question carefully only when you sit in a proximity which is close by, you are able to talk loudly and also able to hear the question correctly. Okay? Yes, so that's the second topic. Crisp answers, listen to the question correctly, understand that there is a difference between we, wem. Some of you made this mistake where when I asked you, wie spielen wir, and instead of describing how you play the game, you started telling me mit wem, so with whom I play. So listen to the question carefully and answer accordingly. That's why crisp answers will help you go through maybe 7 out of the 10 questions, or maybe 4 out of the 10 questions if you had content to your answers. I'll give you another example in the second part of the questions. When we ask about challenges which you faced, so please do not say, I never faced any challenge, because it can never be that for any human being, there have not been any challenge. You have been a nurse. So it could be first focus should be on the professional challenges which you faced. And don't just say what you faced, mention how you overcame them. So it could be that for the first time, you had seen a patient die. And that is a very tragic thing, because sometimes you get really close to the patient you are serving. And death is a very difficult topic. How do you address it? Will you just say, yes, that was my biggest herausforderung? Or will you say that I built a coping mechanism? I spoke to other nurses who were experienced and I asked them, how did they undergo this emotional moment? So, you have to not just tell what your challenge was, you have to also tell how you overcame the challenge. Then there is another point which can be asked, and that is, how do you have, let me just think of the topic. Yes, the question could be that you have had an experience of serving for the 6 months. I'm going to be taking an example of a fresher. For 6 months, you have been in the internship with the hospital. So which was the department which you liked? Then you may say, all of them were the same. Or you could also say, out of all of them, I liked working in one particular department. And then you mention what was the reason why you liked it. Because these are the places where your communication and engagement will count. Okay. So your answers, crisp, concise, but to the point. Don't beat around the bush. Answer and get an answer back. And this video also applies to everybody who is or maybe might be preparing for their interviews. So please put these points through, and then you will see a difference of how attractive you are as a candidate to the interviewer. The third and very, very important point: you are attending an interview. The interviewer has been interviewing many candidates. Imagine if I come with a body language like this, where I sit with shoulders stooping down, where I don't have a smile on my face, and I sit and answer like this in the entire stressful way. Do you like it? You don't, right? And that's why make sure that the first thing that you say to yourself is, I am going to win this interview. I will crack this. That is the way in which you should motivate your own spirits first. Okay. No matter what the answers will be, but you will crack this interview. That is the attitude which you should carry. And when you say that, automatically your shoulders will go up, you will have a smile, and you will answer all the questions confidently. So do not forget that the interviewer is also a human being who wants to have a teammate who he trusts, whom he wants to talk about even during the free time outside of professional working hours. So be that person with whom the interviewer would like to talk. Okay, with that, I wish you all the very best, and I will be sharing the interview timings with you all, and looking forward to seeing you and having a nice conversation during the day of interview. Bye-bye.